It started when I was a kid, actually. I was probably 7, 8 years old, 9 years old. I started collecting cards. I had some neighbors that had older kids. They gave me their collections because they were getting out of it, and I became a hoarder of cards at that time, young in my years. And then when you started going to junior high, high school, you just kind of get out of it for a while. You outgrow it, and all of a sudden, you know, when I started making a good living and a paycheck, I started buying collections and store closings and making offers at auctions, stuff like that, and it kind of blew up for me. But the main reason I wanted to do it is when I was growing up, it didn't seem like there was a lot of nice sports stores that were open wide to, you know, other than Packers, Badgers, Brewers. They didn't carry a lot other than those type teams. And I always envisioned having a sports store that evolved with cards, but got into the clothing, the hats, anything the sideline would wear, you know, at a game, players, coaches, stuff like that. When I was buying cards in the 80s and 90s, they really mass-produced cards, which at the time you didn't know until all of a sudden the evolution of computers and eBay and stuff like that, Amazon, all of a sudden they could start gauging how much was actually out there. So for years, the companies, prior to 85, it was fine. They didn't mass produce, but it became such a big hobby, 85 through probably 95, that 10-year span, that they just kept pumping it out, and packs were cheap, and you felt like you were getting a value because you could open a lot, and the benefit of having a lot seems better than having the better ones as quality versus quantity. I like people coming in. I like the enthusiasm. I like the friendships you build. I like the knowledge of, you know, of giving back and forth. You're always learning. I'm learning from my customers as much as they learn from me a lot of times, and I like the older guys coming in and telling me about their, you know, youth and when they were young, and I love passing it forward to the young kids that come in. And now I've been in business over 17 years. It's really evolved into young people that are now in their 20s, 30s, you know, coming back and going, oh, I used to love coming in here. I used to open packs with you. You used to offer me a soda or a Kool-Aid or something. And it's a fond memory for them. I'm glad I was part of their life, you know, at that point. And you know, it's something that when you grow up and you get older, you realize there's only a few things that mark your life and really made a difference, or something you had a good warm feeling about inside, in card collecting and collecting in general of a hobby that a lot of people are involved in. I mean, that's what I like best about this job. At one time I had over 23 million cards. A vast collection. A lot of the stuff I've still yet to go through box-wise. You just can't go through that many cards, but the value is there. So every once in a while when I'm going through a box, I'll see something in the 50s, you know, a 60s card, you know. I've seen a lot of valuable cards, but everything is condition sensitive. So when it comes down to, you know, grading a card 1 to 10, if it's good enough to send in and get a 9 or 10 out of, that's where the true value of a card can be. Individual cards, I've had a lot, more than I can, you know, put a finger on. I don't get into the grading aspect as much as the value of maybe the book price or the internet price. If the collector, once they buy it from me, wants to grade it out, that's their alternative. The only reason we're successful here in Stevens Point and Wausau is because we give back to the community, and the community recognizes that, and the community supports us back. That's why we can give, you know, a lot away throughout the year, whether it's a scoreboard at the high school, you know, putting money towards that, or donations towards benefits, schools, churches. Benefits is the biggest one. Anybody in need we always want to give back to, but the community knows. They also shop here during birthdays, Christmas, Father's Day, so it's a two-way street, and being part of the community is the biggest part of me being in business.